Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I'm not feeling very well again. I'm going to try and not talk very much this lesson. But we will see how that goes. Of course, the perimeter of the shed is 40 feet because it is 2 times 8 plus 2 times 12, which is 40 feet. The area of the shed equals length times width, which is, of course, 96. If the shed covers 1/3 of my yard, this is 96. How much is this? 96. How much is this? So how much grass do I need? 192. So I need 192 square feet. The grass is sold in how big a rectangle? 5 by 1, which is 5. So I need 38.4 rolls. But of course, that's the math class answer. What's the real answer? 39 rolls. And of course, it is 39 times 2.75, which is like 107 and a quarter or some crap. Okay. Now, hopefully you will have noticed that we opened the lesson converting single distances, and then I all of a sudden introduced squares. Yeah? Because that's what's coming up very soon. Yes. Now, these questions. This is 2,000. This is 36. This is 7.5. Check your work over, please. This is 10,560. This is 47. This is 76.5. Not yet. This is 2. This is 7.2. This is 35. This is 122. Anybody got any questions from there? It's just straight conversion. As you can see, if you've practiced it a little bit, you can do it in your head. Everybody good? Sweet. This is 5,580. This is, in inches. Ooh, that's a tricky one. 7 times 3 is 210, 252, and 60, 312. That is 532. That is 5,320. That is in feet. 8 times 3 is 24, and 2 is 26. Oh, yeah, 26. In inches, 8 times 36 is 240, and 48 is 288, and 12 is another 312. Now, this one. Obviously, there are two answers that make sense. Those two answers that make sense are 2.6 meters or 260 centimeters. But if you were a wise ass, could you do 26 decimeters? Yeah. Could you do, could you do 0.0026 kilometers? Yes, and what will that do for me? Will I mark it right? Of course I will, and I will also go, ha, that's funny. And is it always a good idea to make sure your teacher is in a good mood when he is marking your work? Yes, it is. So feel free to be wise asses at any moment that you wish. If you have yet to figure it out, I know the screen is blue. I, too, am a bit of a wise ass. And, of course, this one would be 5.008 km or 5,008 meters. But some of you might have 500,800 centimeters or something like that. If you really wanted to impress me, you could go down to picometers and have millions of zeros. No. I know. Even if I tell you get bonus marks, half the people don't do it. Every so often I'll throw a bonus question on a test and everyone leaves it blank. I don't know why. No. The point of bonus is it's bonus. But I don't care if you do it or not. It's actually, I'm testing to see how many of you will try to get that bonus. And then later on another test, if I mismark your test by 0.5%, you'll be lining up at the front of the room. I need another half mark right here. but you had no problem throwing away a 6-mark bonus question. It's also I can test your personalities. I don't really care about how much math you do. I'm just kidding. I totally care about how much math you do. It's absolutely important how well you do here. As a matter of fact, my life is only as good as it is because I did so well in Math 10. It isn't. My Math 10 teacher was a stunningly handsome man, though, just like you guys have a stunningly handsome man as your Math 10 teacher. My girlfriend had a crush on him. It was difficult. I would leave my math class, and she would always come and ask me how my math teacher was doing. Not how I was doing, even though she knew I wasn't particularly good at math in grade 10, and it was a stressful time for me. It wasn't, how are you doing, Matthew? It was, how's Mr. Stewart?
Was he ever in his class?
No. That was, I think, what bothered her more. Anyways. So, obviously, a bunch of you apparently either left this blank or actually converted it into metric, which is cool because I told you when I taught you how to convert in imperial, I told you that it doesn't matter what it looks like. You follow the same set of rules. So you could have done this anyway. If you kept an imperial, which was what obviously you should have been doing because the whole thing was converting within systems, I would convert these into imperial. Should I bother? Did anybody keep them in imperial? Oh, good. Okay. So this is 10,560, 13,560, 17,560 feet. Pardon me? Yeah, if you really wanted to, you could do that. And that would be about 3.6 miles. This, of course, is 22 feet, 23 feet, 2 inches. This is... you probably went to inches here, which is 288, 300 minus 3 times 36 is 108, and 24 more is 132. I can't remember what I said there. It's going to be 4 yards and 2 feet. Or 36 times 4 is 144 and 24. Oh, if you went to inches. No, we would go to feet, obviously. Duh. That would be 24 feet. 25 feet minus 11 feet is 15 feet. Here you would do 6 foot 4 inches minus 3 foot 11 inches. That would be just 3 feet 5 inches. This would be 9,560 feet, and this would be 8 feet 2 inches. If you had done that. If you left it blank or converted it to metric, that's fine, doesn't matter. Because again, it's the concept I care about, right? If you're converting properly, I don't care what you're converting. This question, 10 inches of ribbon. She's got 5 yards of ribbon. I know it's blue, don't worry. 10 inches of ribbon. The ribbons are 10 inches. She's got 5 yards of ribbon. So, of course, she did 5 times 36 to get 180 inches of ribbon, which she divided into 5 to get 34? No, that's not right. 36 ribbons. And will your luggage fit on the airplane? Are they going to let you on, or are they going to charge you extra? Extra, because that adds up to something like 67 inches. I can't remember exactly what it is. As soon as you go past 62, doesn't matter. Sam.
For the florist question?
Yep.
How did you divide it by 5? I divided by 10.
Oh, damn it. It should have been divided by 10. What an idiot. Thank you. Jeez. I was looking at the 5 as I said it. What a moron. My only defense is I'm filled with cold medicine. And this question was written here to fool with most of you. Because as soon as you saw the word overlap, I was counting on some of you remembering from grade 9. Oh, if there's overlaps, you have to subtract 2 of them. But you don't subtract 2 of them. Because it's not surface area. It's only 1 overlap that is subtracted. And this is something like 82 inches. I can't remember exactly if it's 82 or 81. It's 82. All right? All right. Now, turn the page over. And on page 23, what is the key word right there in that instruction? Converting. Since we are converting, we are going to do the exact same thing that we have already done. And just to remind you, when you convert, you have a quantity to convert. That's what you have. That's what you start with. And you always multiply it by the following fraction. The quantity you want divided by the quantity you have. And the numbers there come from your data book, which is that sheet of paper I gave you yesterday. Olivia, you need that. Where were you in Australia?
We went to Sydney.
Did you go surfing?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, of course you're really bad. It's hard to do. Nothing bothers me more than when people come back from places where they're surfing and they say they didn't surf. It pisses me off because I'm stuck here where I can't surf because it's all land. However, you can surf on land if you go to Texas, where a famous surfer has built a surf machine. It's wicked awesome. It's called Kelly Slater's Wave Ranch. And it's a giant pool. And it creates surfing waves. Not, stupid waves like at MSA or whatever it's called. Real surfing. Waves like over your head. But in the middle of the desert. It's wicked cool. Yes, well, it's Texas, man. What do you think it is? The rainforest? What? Pardon me? Yes, of course you can surf in Tofino if you sell your kidney first so you can get there and get a hotel room. Because it's so expensive. I don't go to Tofino. It's too expensive. All right. So, the only difference when we are converting between systems is the numbers aren't perfect. You can no longer do them in your head. You are going to need your calculator. But nothing else changes. And I really want to stop talking, so we're going to just do a couple of these. And then I'll tell you what you're going to do. So this first one, it's 19 meters long. I want that in feet. So what am I starting with? 19 meters. I am converting it to what? I want feet, and I have meters. So then I go to my chart. And on my chart, it shows me that 1 meter, or 1 foot, is, I think your chart says 30.48 there, doesn't it? Or does it say 0.3048? I can't remember which chart. Yours says 30.48. So, one foot and 30.48 centimeters, right? So I can convert feet to centimeters, and that's going to get me what? I want feet. I have now. Don't write this down. Well, you're going to write it down. Is that okay? Why or why not? Is that good? Because I got this in centimeters. Remember, the units have to be the same, don't they? So what do I do with centimeters to get to meters? How far does the decimal have to go? 2 spaces. Which direction? Left. So it's really 0.3048 to get meters. Does everybody understand? The chart does not have every single possible conversion of all the different lengths that exist in the world. Sometimes you have to use your brain. Okay? So now, since this is on the bottom, it's going to be 19 divided by 0.3048. And what do I get when you do that on your calculator? $62, and who cares? Because I said the nearest foot. So as long as that decimal isn't past 5, it's 62. Everybody good? Now, since this is that easy, it's exactly the same thing again. The only way I can actually test some of your brain power is to make the questions a little trickier. So look at number 2. How many conversions must you perform to answer that question? Only one. Because if you convert Hannah to kms, are you going to know?
Yeah.
If you convert Farron to miles, are you going to know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter which one you do. Right? Because I didn't say who drove further and by how much. I just said who drove further. So go. Do whichever one you want. I'm going to, of course, do them both. Remember, I get the numbers from my chart. And 2 decimal places is always enough.
Like if you have the previous one, it's 62.3.
Unless I tell you otherwise, like I did there, nearest foot, 2 decimals is what I want all the time. Just keeps it easy. Then I don't have to answer the question every single time we have a decimal. What do I round it to? Always 2 decimal places.
You want to round it up.
If it rounds up, you round up. Now, I've done the calculations. Have I answered the question? No. Because who drove further, Rylan? Yes, Hannah drove further. Hannah is our winner chicken dinner. Everybody okay? Oh, sorry, Nathan. Go. Excuse me, I'm losing a lung. Carry on. The same way you've always known what number to put on the top and the bottom. What you are starting, what you want, goes on the top. What you have goes on the bottom. So in this case, I had kilometers on top because I wanted kilometers. So I go to my chart, I find kilometers and miles, which I find right here, and I see that the 1 goes with the mile and the 1.609 goes with the kilometers. So if I have written out my work, like my teacher always tells me to do, kilometers are on top, miles on the bottom, the 1's with the miles, the 1.609 is with the kilometers.
Okay, so it's A equals like 99.
99.758. And then you round it off to 99.76.
I put 1 kilometer on the top.
Well, that would be wrong. And then, of course, 1 second, Heather. Of course, before you even try writing it down, you should think about what makes sense. What's bigger, a mile or a kilometer? A mile. So if I'm going from miles to kilometers, obviously the number is going to get bigger. If I'm going from kilometers to miles, obviously that number is going to get smaller. Okay? Heather, hit me.
Shouldn't your M's be MI?
Yeah, it should be MI, so you don't confuse it with meters. But I'm doing my work. I know what I'm doing. As will you when you're doing your work.
It says
When you multiplied 62 by... Well, it's 609, that's why. Look on the chart. Nathan.
for the kilometer, since miles is a bigger number, shouldn't it be dividing?
It was dividing. 98 divided by that because you cancel out the 1. 62 times. That's how fractions work. You go across.
So it's multiplication by the 98.
Yes, because this is 98 over 1 times 1 over 1.609. The 1's cancel, and you're left with 98 over 1.609, which is division.
Would it be easier just to put 90 like that?
Yes, it would be, but then you would do it wrong. When you write it out, it makes it impossible to do it wrong. because of all the times I told you, you cancel the 1 always. And then you're left with 98 over 1.609. If you need to write that extra step, go ahead and write it. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't write it because I know that when I have a number on the bottom, it's division. But I write it out, so I can't possibly do it wrong. So, I would like to stop talking. So what you people are going to do is you are going to finish this page down to number 11. I am going to start working quietly in a couple of moments. If you did that page for homework, then you're going to carry on to today's work, which is page 24, 25, and 26. Oh, and 1 second. On page 24, add this question. On the bottom of page 24. And I'll get that back up on the screen in a minute. So, you guys are working on these. I'm going to stop talking now because my throat hurts, and I'm going to just do the work. You can check your work if you're ahead. It'll take me about 2 minutes to do all this. Then, of course, you can start working on page 25. Can't remember. Yo. Yes, you can. Miss Cook.
Sorry, I don't have an EA for you. However,
I shouldn't need one.
this is right?
Nope. I don't have Mateus Diaz. No.
You don't have Mateus?
No, nor do I have Logan Kirkwood, nor do I have Aiden Thiessen, nor do I have Alex Shooten, nor do I have Kezia Stagg, and I have Nathan Ellis.
You don't have Aiden?
Nope.
You don't have Alex?
Nope.
You have Alex?
Kezia Stagg and
Don't you have
Nathan
Logan?
Ellis.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay,
No.
thank you. I'm just checking to make sure, and I'm glad I did. They had obviously timetable changes. They don't tell me.
Yes, of course not.
Okay, thank you. And if they need to come down, you know.
Yep. Yo. feel free to leave decimals on the bottom of this page. Yo. I don't know. Is it? Yeah. I think the only difference is one of them has meters, feet to meters, and the other one has feet to centimeters. I think that's the only difference. Okay. Of course. Now, when you get to number 9, of course, you get in a bit of trouble, don't you? Because you don't have a yards and inches to meters. So what must you do? You must convert that first to something that works. You could either go 8 yards, and of course 3 is 3 out of 36, 3 inches out of 36, right? Find that as a decimal and then convert. Or you could go yards to inches, inches to centimeters, centimeters to meters. It is up to you. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? But you will always get the same answer. Doesn't matter how you work it out. And then for this one, what's easier to write? Changing this to inches, or what do I know? What is special about 6 inches? It's half a foot. So this is 12.5 feet. So I can go straight to meters from there, can't I? I want meters. So it's 0.3. Oops, I did that one backwards. That is yards, 0.9144. 1 meter. I did that again backwards. 1 yard is 0.9144 meters. Yes. Now, so there's all the answers. You've all seen them all. But I want to take just 1 second to talk about this. And this applies to other ones on the page, but I'm going to just use this one to specifically discuss it. Is that the right answer? Is 14.28 meters 15.62 yards? It's right? I did the math. I used the conversion factor. It's correct. Is it the best way you could give me that answer? Technically, no, right? Because I've got this 0.62 of a yard here, yeah? So really, if you wanted to get crazy technical with this, it's 15 yards, yes? And then it's 0.62 of a yard. And what do yards break down into? Feet. So I would want to convert this 0.62, I know it's blue, to feet. So I would go 0.62, and I know that I want feet over yards, so it's 1.3. 0.62 times 3 is 1.86. So how many feet would go here with this yard? Technically. 1 foot, right? So I would technically write 1 foot. And then I have 0.86 of a foot left over, don't I? So I would technically go, what do feet break down into? So I would go 0.86 feet times, and now I want inches, 12 over 1. 0.86 times 12, that would be 10 inches. So I would write 10 inches here. If I wanted the best possible 4 out of 4 A+ answer that you could possibly get, that's what you would do. Does this make me happy? Oh, again it went blue? Son of a bitch. I turned it back on 3 times throughout. Obviously, I needed a 4th. So there it all is, though. The 6.2 is 0.62 of a yard, so I converted that to feet. That got me my 1 foot. I was left with 0.86 of a foot right here, which I converted to inches to get that. Still blue, or still white. This, let's pretend that this was elementary school, and you were writing one of those tests where the teachers grade you on a rubric scale of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like all your elementary school report cards. Except I don't think you could get a 0 in elementary school because that would hurt your precious feelings. But 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And 1 is you can bark. 2 is you know that there's some numbers involved. 3 is doing some work and getting the right answer. And 4 is kicking its ass, taking it out back, and showing it what it's like. Everybody remembers that scale of marking? Get used to it. It's coming for you. Again, in high school. Maybe by the time you're in grade 12. Hopefully not. But that exam you're going to write at the end of this year that the government gives you is going to be marked on that scale. Okay? The green would get you a 3 out of 4 on that scale, because that green one meets my expectations. You have done a conversion. Everybody understand? The pink one exceeds my expectations because you have taken it as far as you possibly can. Does everybody understand the difference? In a moment. Every so often, I am going to be mentioning this scenario again to remind you of what possibly might be coming for you. Everybody cool? You want to know about number 4? Well, I converted the truck to feet. Okay. Then you would have had to convert that to inches too. But either way, you will find out that the truck is shorter than the bridge.
Isn't the truck in inches would be 138?
I don't know. Would it?
Well, what do you have in feet?
I have 11 and a half feet. So 11 times 12 is 132, plus 6 is 138 inches. Is everybody good? All right. So now your job is to do this page and page 25 and 26. Now, please notice The kids in the other class read this wrong. I don't want it in days and then in hours and then in minutes. I want it to look like this. Days, hours, minutes. I haven't given you a converter for days, hours, and minutes. No, of course I haven't, because you know there's 24 hours in a day, 60 minutes in an hour, and 60 seconds. 24 hours in a day, 60 minutes in an hour, and 60, seconds. Thank you. Yes. Number 9. No, that's 2.54 cm. Yeah, the 4 does look a little like a K. It's 2.54 centimeters. So your job for the rest of the day is number 12. Then answer that question. And then do 25 and 26. You should. You can do as much or as little as you want, as always, Nathan. You guys are big kids. You can decide how much homework you're going to do. But if you don't do any homework and you get crap marks on a test, don't complain. If you do 60% of your homework and get 60% in your test, don't complain.
Which pages have the homework 24 and 25?
24 through 26. And of course, in a little while, I will do this question before you go home so everybody sees it. Please do. I'm going to do all of this page, but not for a while. I'm going to let you try it yourselves. And since it's 12:25 and you have half an hour, I lie, almost 40 minutes left in class, nobody should have any homework for the weekend. I know, right? Because I'm such a nice guy. It's because you guys are such a good class. I'm going to give you the next 2 days off. With pay, Nicole. With pay. You guys keep going the way you're going, I might even double your salary. No, your salary. It's a joke, dude. You're not paid anything. So I'm willing to double it. Although that's not really true. Studies have shown that graduates of high school, by the time they retire, earn on average $500,000 more than if you don't graduate high school. So by the time you retire at 65, you will have earned an extra $500,000 if you stayed in high school, on average. It makes it even higher. I don't know. Because I only teach high school, I don't care. Because the number one thing I hear from you guys is how you don't get anything for being here. But you really do. You get $500,000. Now, since you're in high school for 4 years, 9 through 12, and you get 8 courses a year, right? That's 32 courses, right? Which means I'm teaching you one of those courses, right? So I am responsible for $500,000 divided by 32, which is $15,625. So if you think you're not going to make any money by being in high school, you're welcome to write me a check for $15,625 right now. No problem. What? I can screw up a little. What do you need, Satjuk? Huh? Yeah, but I'm talking, why would I care about what Surrey students do? I teach in Abbotsford. These are the students that bitch and moan at me about how high school doesn't pay you. High school does pay you $500,000 over the course of your life, on average, which means some people make significantly more. What?
The 150 meters for number 6. How does it get Because yards are bigger.
No, yards are smaller than a meter.
But I'm looking at the opposite way.
1 yard is 0.9 of a meter.
I was looking at the opposite way.
It's easy to do, especially with yards and meters, because they're close. That's the one everybody screws up the most.
That's what I'm like, I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, and you will notice how many yards and meters ones did I put on here? 1, 2, 3. Because that's the one people screw up the most, so that's the one they need the most practice with.
Because the correct thinking would be to put 150 in front over like 1 yard.
Well, I wrote out the work, then I canceled the 1, and then the 150 slides over to here, and then I do division.
I go things too fast.
You don't really have to write me a $15,000 check. I'm just kidding. 15. What?
You would get the same marks if you did.
It's a lot. Like,
Yeah, of course, for me, absolutely. But I'm letting you know that in the future, it is entirely possible that your grading will go back to that kind of rubric. I don't like that kind of rubric for math class. Let me give you an example of why I hate it. X plus 7 equals 16. The answer is 9, right? Is there any way to exceed my expectations? So could you possibly get a 4? How? 4 is exceeding my expectations. There is no way to exceed my expectations. X is 9. But even if they're more difficult questions, even if we were doing trigonometry, which we're going to do in the next unit, X always equals something. There's no way to exceed. That's why that kind of rubric makes math really hard, because all I can do is do questions like this. And then, even though you've done all the work correctly, the most I can give you is 3 out of 4, which is 75%. That's not a B answer. That's the answer.
that's why I chose not to like B.
I don't like those rubrics. But I may be forced to deal with them because I may.
Do we have to deal with it in my B class?
No. Another reason I don't like those rubrics is because a kid in England on his grade 12 final to graduate from his high school in England had to write an essay. You know what he wrote? F-U. But he didn't write just the letter F. He wrote the word, then he wrote U, and then he put an exclamation point. It was on a 6-point scale. Guess what he got? 2 out of 6. Because F-U with an exclamation point is a sentence. And he proved that he could write a sentence.
How do you know about this?
Huh? How do I know about that? That's the type of thing I read about when they talk about changing marks here. And that is what could happen. Because technically, that kid wrote a sentence. And the rubric said, the number 1 in the rubric box is able to write incomplete sentences. He wrote a sentence, so he gets 1 out of 6. Oh, 1 out of 6 he got. He did not get 0.
Whatever. Still.
And that's stupid, no matter what anyone says.
Oh yeah, you can
That's idiotic. Yeah. Do you want that person cutting into your heart when you're getting heart surgery?
No.
Do you want that? No. Do you want the kid that got 49.5% in medical school to be the one cutting into your heart? No, you don't. And yet, we make it so everybody can get through all the time. I'll give you a better example even. Do you want the kid that almost flunked out of auto mechanic school to be the one fixing your brakes? No. Do you want the kid that flunked out of electrician college to be the one wiring your house? No. So should we really get rid of standards? No. And yet what are we doing? Of course it is. No. When was the last time you knew somebody that actually failed? Yeah. Failed a class. Okay. How many? Right. What class did he fail? What grade? 10. How much you want to bet if that was a grade 12 course for graduation he doesn't fail? How much you want to bet that if that was a grade 12 course that he had no chance to fix, that he wouldn't have failed? You shouldn't, because you would lose that bet. This question, and then I'm going to be quiet. First thing, of course, you needed to convert how far I drove, which is 11,745 times I want kilometers over miles, so it is 1.609, which gets you 18,897.7 something. Now, over the course of 18,000 kilometers, you can let go 300 meters. You can, if you wanted to, round that to 18,898. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect your answer too much because I don't care about the answer. I care about how you got there. All right? So that is how far I traveled. Kilometers. Now, I drove an average of 85 kilometers an hour. So how do I find out how long I drove? I divide that by 85, and I end up with, and I'll show you on a calculator, 18,898 divided by 85. I'm just that awesome. 222.329. So I always say two decimals. So 222.33 what? 222.33 watts. Hours. Now, what do I want? I want days, minutes, and hours. So I start at 222.32 hours. First thing I have to convert to is what? Days. So I need to multiply by days, because that's what I want, over hours. 1 day, 24 hours. So I do 222 divided by 24. There's my answer, divided by 24. How many total days? 9. So I started with 9 days. 9.26. Now, do I care about the days anymore? No. So I don't need that. So I've got 0.26 of a day left over, don't I? What do days break down into? Hours. So now I have to convert my days to hours. Or 1 day, 24 hours. 0.26 times 24. So I'm going to take out my day here. I had my answer. I subtracted out the day. 0.26 times 24. And that got me how many total hours? 6 hours. This answer got me 6.33. Again, right? Do I care about the hours anymore? No. I have 0.33 of an hour, and I want to go, what do hours break down into? Minutes. 1 hour, 60 minutes. 0.33 times 60. So I take the 6 out of here. There's my 0.33 times 60. 19 minutes. Now, if I really wanted to go crazy, I could take that 0.76 of a minute and break it down into seconds, couldn't I? But I'm not going to do that. That's more than enough. Now, here is where I see how many of you are comfortable with the difference between real life and math class. When could my friends expect me home? I left on August 4th at 10 a.m. When should my friends have been planning my party for? August 13th at 4:19 p.m. That is the math class answer. How could I drive for 9 days, 6 hours, and 19 minutes without stopping? I need to sleep. I need to pee. I need to eat. I need to visit things on the way. So that is why I wrote that question the way I wrote it. Could they expect me home then? No, of course not. Real life answer? Math class answer. Pardon? Sure. How long do you think I could drive at one go without stopping? 24 straight hours. When was the last time you were awake for 24 straight hours? Lies. Now, to be honest, we drove for most of that trip about 20 hours a day because we wanted to go all the way to South Carolina and visit some friends. But my best, I drove from the Grand Canyon to Chilliwack in one shot. It was very long. We arrived at the Grand Canyon sort of early in the afternoon, walked around, did a little bit of hiking, then got in the car and drove all the way home to Chilliwack. Where my friends were, we did have a giant party. But I let them know when I was leaving the Grand Canyon so they could plan. How did I get what? Which numbers? Well, Sam added 9 days, 6 hours, and 19 minutes to my leaving time, which would be fine if I was Superman and could drive straight for 9 days. But I cannot. This is the amount of time I drove.